Hello YouTube family, how you doing? This is Kofi Baraka and you're in a special episode. This is episode 10 of Kofi Baraka's World. Oh man, thank you guys. Congratulations to you. We made it to episode 10. That's a beautiful name and it's a great number too. Cypher. Alright, so today's episode is entitled Chosen Ones. Food scarcity might be a reality. So naturally, we're going to give she or he or she their proper roses and their proper flowers and their proper praises. So we're going to give God the glory. So make sure you close those eyes and open up those ears. God, thank you for this time. Once again, thank you for blessing us. Thank you for just guiding us. Thank you for aiding us, throughout our trespasses. Thank you for giving us rightful circumstances. We know that there's nothing that you will place in front of us or nor leave us astray in terms of nothing that we can't take care of or no pressure too much. Please just keep us not only in your mind but in your hearts, God, and just thank you for all the other blessings you have given us, as well as the universe. Whatever blessings you will allow to give to us, we're totally open. Thank you for this day and this night. Amen Ra, Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe. All right, thank you, God. God's first. Alrighty. So we about to get in the nitty gritty today. So today we're talking about basically 2022 food crisis. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't want to talk about or don't want to admit. But if you have 2 eyes or 4 eyes like myself, and you have gone to these stores, you have seen it look really scarce. It looks like a horror film after an earthquake. It just looks bad. Shit is everywhere, or there's no shit around. So basically, we're gonna talk about the shortage of food and how serious it is in terms of the black community. Now, real quick, I went to Target not so long ago, and I was kind of shook because it had nothing in there, barely. Nothing in there, barely inside. They had low staff. It was a little dirty, a little hostile. I thought I was in Walmart, and I realized, no, I'm in Target. And that's our reality right now. Honestly speaking, the first time I seen this shortage, especially being on the East Coast, it was like 5.5 months ago. 5.5 months ago. And from doing research, they said on the West Coast, it was probably like 3.5 months ago in terms of people start seeing a shortage of food and produce. But it's kind of like a double whammy now, because you have no food, and the food you do have is a rapid food increase in terms of pricing and et cetera, et cetera. So, you know how black folks are. Like, we don't play with food inflation. And this summer, we went up 38.5% of an upcharge. So it's like, if I seen some bananas, and I saw 5 bananas for $1.23, and last week it was 87 cents, nigga, I'm pulling 2 bananas off. I'm still gonna purchase it, but I won't come to that store next week, because that's how we are. And it's just like, they said there's many causes for this situation. They said COVID is one, also Russian-Ukraine war, which I don't believe. I think it's our people, black, alien, benevolent race, in space coming down, to tell you the truth. World War II, World War One, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Afghanistan, those were wars. You know what I mean? Civil rights, that was more of a war. And climate change. So overall, we had nothing to do with this motherfucker in terms of circumstances. So why are we suffering? So let's talk about the history of food crisis. Now, we've been going through a lot of food crises throughout, history, but it's not really taught in the textbooks and nothing like that. You don't really hear about it. Let's start off with the Great Depression. And the funny thing about the food crisis is black people always found an angle and a blessing within the food crisis. So let me give you a couple of listings. So we got the Great Depression. Within the Great Depression, you seen the elevation of moonshine, and people, and they called them moonshiners because black men and women were driving with illegal beverages and bottles, and a lot of the bottles would shine to the point in which the moon would shine and reflect off the bottles, ergo i.e. moonshiners. Also, some say that because they were blacks, they used to call blacks at the time a negative terminology called shine. So there was like people that was working, because they weren't doing this in daytime. This was like selling crack back in the day. So it's like you're basically working at night. So moonshine, moonshiners, is black niggas. All right. So now you got World War II. Because of World War II and their food crisis, that's when you see black people come up with the modern day refrigerators, the modern day freezers, the modern day stoves, and a lot of kitchen appliances was made by black men and black women during this time. If you look at 1956, 1957, you see the uprising in terms of independent mom and pop shops, African American supermarkets, which were in Jersey, Detroit, LA, New York, Philly, Connecticut, Maryland, DC, Virginia, Tennessee, and parts of Kentucky. Also, if you look at 1973, 1974, you see a lot of African Americans, black people, get in the coupon game. I mean, dropping their food bill from $100 and with their coupons getting shit down to like $30, $20 and doing this every week. Recently, they kind of stopped the coupon game because we was killing it. Then you look at 1992, 93, and you see basically food stamps going crazy. We've been had food stamps in the black community, but food stamps was really going crazy 92, 93. As well as 2007, 2008, you got EBT, and during that time, which is the highest inflation ever on food, was 49%. Now, even with the EBT, I remember the food crisis in 07, 08. People were selling their EBT cards money like G Money and Nino Brown. I mean, it was an old lady outside a Food Mart, and she was like, "Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper?" And I said, "No, I am not." No, I'm joking. I asked her to give me $50 worth. You know what I mean? Presently, right now, Biden signed a $320 million deal with Africa. Or someone say that Africa's horn. For the next 5 years for food supplies and food produce. So we're actually eating food from Africa right now, and we don't even know it. And it's funny too, because black people always gotta save the day as usual. I mean, you can't give us $320 million anyway. You gotta wait for your stomach to growl before you can give us $320 million. I see how you roll, government. I see how you roll. So here's the solution. Basically, we gotta take one meal out of your dietary. If you're eating 3 meals a day, make it 2. If you're eating 2 meals a day, make it 1. It's only gonna make your body better. It's only gonna make, how can you say, you be more economic or more economically stable, basically, to a certain degree. Have a good equilibrium. All right, also eating out. You gotta cut it down to 1/3. You know what I mean? If you eat Chinese food, pizza, and Chipotle in a week, you gotta take 2 out, just have 1 thing, and keep it moving. And realize this, within a month, you will save on 8 meals. So that's a lot of money. All right. Also, purchase 2 identical items when you go grocery shopping from now on. Since we have a scarcity, you use one and then you put one in your pantry for later. You know what I mean? Even freeze items to a certain degree. Also, too, utilize supermarket point systems, online coupons, paper coupons, etc., etc. Even go to farmers markets. The good thing about farmers markets, you can bargain or barter for a better price and get a lot of stuff too, and it's natural. Also, you could do the 5-finger discount. No, I'm joking. Don't do that unless you got to, but don't do it. All right. But now I'll tell you a quick story. You know, before I was saved and before I got conscious, man, when things were hard, that's what I used to do, man. I had a family. So sometimes, man, I'll go in that supermarket, boy, $200 worth of groceries, man. Sometimes I'd be in a wheelchair. Niggas, you know, I want to teach you something. When a black woman, a black man's in a wheelchair, shit, you're not even a nigga no more. You half a nigga. Some people they become so petitious, they'll be so pity for you, and they won't even look at you, man. And the good thing about the wheelchair game is you can put all your food and your produce in there while everyone else is shopping, and they're looking to you like, oh man, he got his food in there because, you know, he can't get up, and, you know, it's hard for him to check out. Man, I check right out the fucking door. I did that shit a couple of times, you know what I mean? I can count my fingers and my toes how many times I did that. But at the same time, now being the man I am now, I would rather pay, get what I have to get, and et cetera, et cetera. All right, so here is Kofi predictions. I predict that baggy clothing will be a style once again. It was like in style when I was a young boy. We used to sag and wear Pelly and Polo and Tommy Not Real Figure, because that nigga don't like us. You know what I mean? All them other clothes, chaps. You know what I mean? Also, for the future, young girls, like teenagers and young adults, like in their 20s, they're going to start cutting their hair completely off. They're going to be bald. They might have tattoos on their head or colors and stuff like that. It's going to look real fly. You know what I mean? And a lot of girls, it's going to be it's not going to just be black. It's going to be white women. It's going to be all spectrums of colors of women doing this. You know what I mean? It's gonna be really, really cool to see. You know what I mean? And it's gonna stand for women's rights too. So that's gonna be a cool thing as well. And of course, we're getting down to the end of this episode. This is episode 10. I'm real proud. I want to thank you, YouTube family. I appreciate you, Kings and Queens, for all the support. And also, guys, if you would like, you could like my videos. You can subscribe to the channel, and you can share and download the videos. You know what I mean? Have a watch party and say, yo, this nigga is different. You know what I mean? And you know, to spread the word. I'm not doing this for money. That's why I don't have a cash app and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind it in the future, but I'm doing this for the people. I'm doing this so the truth will come out, and I'm doing this because I felt God placed me on this earth to do this, and I do a goddamn good job at it too, motherfuckers. All right, so of course I gotta say peace and happiness, and you know our saying, we're number one. Our God is number one, and the journey is not done. Love you. Stay righteous. Peace, y'all.